Tell me how you got started, man. Why are you doing this real estate thing?
Why am I doing this real estate thing? So I know I've told you this story a bunch of times, but I'll just kind of start from the beginning. January 1st, 2017, last day of vacation. It's the dreaded day. I called it Smunday. You know what Smunday is?
It's the day that it's Sunday and you're just dreading
going to work on Monday. So it's about 3 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. At the time I was working in IT. I was working a 9-to-5 job at an insurance company. Something that people would have killed for. And, I was grateful for it at the time. For some reason, I decided to pick up the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I promise you, within about half an hour of reading that, I stood up out of bed and I just leaned my head up against the wall. I remember just my gut sinking. And not only that, just having an absolute fear and just kind of almost humiliated that I didn't know that this was this other part of the world out there.
On January 1st.
January 1st,
like
2017.
New Year's Day.
On New Year's Day. So I was 32 at the time. Emily and I were about to we found out she was pregnant. We were going to be having our second child. Fast forward 3 days to January 4th. I had finished the book. It's all stuck in my head. I'm back at work in my beautiful cubicle job, and it's also my birthday, so I turned 33 that day. And my boss grabs me. Great relationship with my boss, but he says, "Hey, Colin, I know you used to get unpaid time off because I know you have like side businesses, you like to travel, etc. Well, you switched departments, so unfortunately, you don't have any more of that." So I asked, okay. So he's like, "You're out of vacation time. When does it re-up?" You'll accumulate about 3 or 4 days over the next 9 months or so. Right then, my heart sank, and I was in a mix of fury and just kind of drive. Well, about sometime that day, or maybe it was that week, I look over at my coworker who was 30 years my senior, and I see on his desk, and I had seen it before, but it was a 1,000-day countdown timer, about 1,000 days. It was signifying that he was hoping to get rid of the next 1,000 days to get to that coveted retirement. Right then, I knew something had to change. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I don't know about you, but I didn't come from any entrepreneurial background, no business, didn't have a lot of capital, but I knew there had to be a better way with passive income. During that month, I probably read, a dozen books, Millionaire Real Estate Investor. I found Bigger Pockets. And I really had to start burning all the ships. I'd get my work done in probably an hour a day. I'd probably spend the rest of my 7-hour shift working.
That's awesome.
On real estate. I'd wake up at 4:30 a.m. First thing I'd do is I'd put a book in my head. I'd get an Audible in my head. I tried to get rid of all the noise. Lunch breaks, I didn't take one lunch break that year. None. Every single one, I was walking around, I was on the phone, I was calling brokers, I was seeing for sale signs, for rent signs. I was trying to get as close to property owners as I could. I had no idea what I was going to do with it besides what I was reading and learning in books. And me just also being stubborn and not wanting to tell my wife I was going to spend a couple $1,000s on a mail campaign. As we all know, when you get in real estate, it's the off-market deal. Mail campaigns are a huge thing. I decided to handwrite 191 letters. So I got the list from listsource.com. I scrubbed the list. I narrowed it down to multifamilies that are 4 units and under that are non-owner occupied. So that means that it was a rental property for them. That also means that it could have been a headache for them. Well, by April 24th, I closed on my first 3-plex. That's kind of where it started. Ever since then, I have not gone a day without having a property under contract. So it kind of rolled from there. I actually closed my next property May 1st, which is a duplex, which is actually my first ever cold call, I think, in my life for any sort of sales thing. I found this individual's phone number online. I remember it was 3008 Dewey Avenue. I think the lady's name was like Janet or Jen, and I call her at 7:30 at night. I'm really nervous. I think I had a couple beers just to make sure, I didn't, kind of loosen up. And to my surprise, I just combed the internet. She answers. I'm like, "Excuse me, is this Janet?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Do you own the property at 3008 Dewey Avenue?" She's like, "Who's this?" I'm like, "I know, I apologize, ma'am. I found your number online." "Wait, hold on a second. I'm a real estate investor." She's like, "Okay." She's like, "I'm in the middle of dinner. can you call me back? I was like, absolutely. Well, she actually answered my phone 2 hours later. I had done the underwriting. We agreed upon a price of $154,000. I got her down from 155. So my negotiation skills were really on point. And closed 30 days later. We actually added a credit back at closing to help fund the rehab, but I used a line of credit to purchase that. And from there, it's just kind of been off to the races. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.